Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing a few tips and tricks on how to swatch and organize your colorful cardstock. If you've seen me stand here in videos before, you probably already know that I like to keep my colorful 8.5 by 11 cardstock in my Calyx unit from IKEA. Years ago, when I just had a few colors of colorful cardstock, I organized them in job ticket holders, which I saw on Jennifer McGuire's YouTube channel. And that method has done me so well over the years because it keeps the cardstock safe, keeps it very organized, and that shelf looks very tidy. But as my colorful cardstock stash began to expand, the more cardstock I had, the more difficult it was for me to see the colors that I owned. And the only thing that I didn't like about the job ticket holders is that the cardstock is set back, so it's hard to see the colors. The other method that I've tried is to cut off one end of the cardstock packs that I purchase and just pull the cardstock in and out of that. I like that method because you can really see the colors a little bit better. However, I find it a little bit difficult to pull the cardstock out of those packages, especially if I pull one out a little bit and then decide I don't want it, trying to put everything back in without anything getting bent or just messed up was not working for me. So I found a new type of file folder that I thought would work really well because they're clear and they're pretty affordable. So I'm going to transfer everything I have into those folders, and then we're going to talk about swatching. So these are the office document file folders. They are clear. You can see that one side is closed off. I'm going to put that to the back of my shelf so that the papers can't slip out the back. And then I'm going to put the open side to the front of my shelf so I can easily pull them out. I'm going to use my Brother P-Touch label maker to label all of these file folders with both the company name and the color of cardstock underneath. And I'm also going to take one piece of each color of cardstock and cut it into A2 pieces. Those are going to sit on my desk while the file folders are going to sit in my cubes. This photo was done after I'd finished half of one cube. You can see the left-hand side still has the job ticket holders and the right-hand side still has the packages. So now is basically just the process of rinse and repeat. So I did start to get an assembly line system going here where I put all the brand names up at the top and then took all the pinks and did all of those, took all the oranges and did all of those, and it did start to go a lot more quickly. This is the outcome with everything done. I love how you can see all of the colors very easily from afar. I've mentioned before that I like to keep A2 pieces of colorful cardstock right on my desk so that I can flip through them and grab them really easily to do die cutting or to use them to mat cards on. But as my colorful cardstock collection expanded, that started to get confusing and I wasn't sure which color was which or belonged to which company. So it became vitally important for me to swatch the colors of cardstock and keep those swatch books with the collection of A2 panels on my desk so that I knew what I was grabbing, especially if I needed to add a little bit more or needed a larger piece of that color. I'm going to create a new swatch book with some of the new colors that I've added to my collection. You may have seen in a recent video that I created a similar swatch book for my colors of the Stamp Market inks. Well, one of the great things about the Stamp Market's color collection is that they have both inks and cardstocks to match. So now I'm going to add a little bit of colorful cardstock to my ink swatch book. My recent ink swatch books were made with the Waffle Flower A7 disc bundle dies, so they're a little bit larger than I thought I really needed. I decided to make these new swatches as big as my old cardstock swatches. These are for my Gina K Designs cardstocks. So I'm going to make my Stamp Market swatches in those size. I'm going to take each color and I'm going to cut it down into A2 panels. And I love using the Tim Holtz trimmer for this because they have those really easy guidelines, and the Stamp Market cardstock is not so thick that you can't double it up so that you can cut the second cut and make these into A2 panels really quickly. So now I have 4 A2 panels. This is the Stamp Market stamp swatch that I use, I'm going to be using the Color Combos dies from Waffle Flower. You can see they have a bunch of stamps that you can use to create your color combos in swatches as well. I'm just going to use this rectangular die at the top, and then the other die that I'm using is the A2 disc bundle die from Waffle Flower. I'm going to die cut those both out at the same time out of one A2 piece of the cardstock. Then I'm going to adhere the little cardstock rectangle on top of my ink swatch there. So I have the brand name, then the cardstock color, then the piece of little cardstock, and then the ink. And you can see that it looks like it's two different colors. I actually stamped it once and then re-inked only the right hand half so I can see what it looks like when you double stamp it. I sometimes like to single stamp, most I like to double stamp, so I wanted to see both of those on my swatch, and then I love seeing how they look compared to the cardstock color. So now I've worked up my reds and my pinks, and you can see on the cardstock swatches, I just have the brand name and then the color. And then we have another swatch book with the inks and the cardstock, so you can have both of these together to see how everything works really well as far as matching up colors or finding colors in your stash. After I die cut out the swatch book and the little rectangle, I'm going to keep that with my A2 panels because there is plenty on the left-hand side of that for me to use for die cutting or sentiment strips or things like that. So this is how everything ended up looking from the Stamp Market's inks with their cardstocks in one swatch book, and then just the cardstocks in another swatch book. And then I have on the right hand side those A2 panels stacked up that I can just leave on my desk. And there's a ton of beautiful colors, and this does not even include their latest release of colors. So I will add to that as they come in. So once that's all done, I just need to put these swatch books on their discs. And these discs are really easy to add to. I basically start with one piece to get it going, and then you can use 3 or 4 pages at a time. You just press them into the discs, and the discs hold them in place. The thing that I really like about the discs is that it's very easy to take things out and put them back. So yeah, and it's very easy to flip them around as well. You can see all those little cardstock colors and ink colors as well. So I'm going to do the same exact thing with these cardstock swatches. I'm going to start with one and then use 3 or 4. At some point I was doing like an entire color line, and again, super simple. You can see that I have an orange out of place, so I just peel it back off the discs, go to the place that I want it, and then just press it in. You just pop it right onto those discs. It keeps them on there, but it's really easy to remove and place again. So those are the 2 swatch books and my stack of A2 panels. Now that might all seem like a lot of work, but honestly, it will save me so much time in the future trying to figure out what colors of cardstock I have, whether I have matching inks or not, and then digging through those cubes trying to find the exact match. I hope you found these ideas for organizing and swatching your colorful cardstock helpful. If you want to see more swatching videos, check out my entire swatch playlist over here. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, I couldn't organizing your colorful cardstock differently. No, it doesn't have to be differently. I mean, it could be the same if you want. Should I make a mental playlist?